I am here talking with Greg, and in the wood yard today we're going to talk wood boilers. Here we go. Okay, so how long have you been selling wood boilers?
32 years.
Forever?
Yeah.
Since you were in kindergarten, probably?
No. As soon as I got out to the market, I got into heating and air conditioning, and just decided to put one in. We sat down with a conglomerate of heating and air conditioning people, and some mechanical people, electrical people, and we decided which brand we narrowed it down to.
Yep.
And we bought half a semi-load of them, brought them all in.
Really?
I was the first one that put mine in, and I started asking everybody, and nobody had them in. It started getting towards winter, and next thing you know,
everybody wanted
one in, and I started. Nobody wanted anything to do with it.
So when was the peak of the industry as far as selling wood boilers? I mean, what were like the glory days? Because I know they're not as popular as they used to be. Would it have been like mid-80s?
Between 90, it was a big peak with the construction industry shot up with the bigger homes.
Yeah.
And then the heat cost went up.
Right.
You know, we had that 90, 92 or whatever in that era, you know,
right.
And then we got another burst in 2004, huge burst. Because the prices went up again, you know, the propane and natural gas.
Yeah, it seems like when heating costs go up.
I was selling probably 100 wood boilers a week.
A week?
I was a distributor for
Holy
Aquatherm,
smokes.
Nature's Comfort, Royal, and Ecotech at the time for the state of Wisconsin.
Really? So is this your only brand now that you have?
This is my only brand we got left standing out of all of those.
So now we were talking before we started here. We're going to try to keep this as non-political as possible, because that's how I like to be. And I know there's people on both sides that get pretty wound up about this. But you said the last time that there was a real big resurgence in the sales was over 4 years ago, when there was a different person in the Oval Office, because they took restrictions off for the EPA.
It actually started, the huge restrictions started when Obama got in. It was, what, 12 years ago. So that's when the EPA really hit us a number where you had to meet a parts per million with your units. You have to physically go to a testing center, which each state only has 1 or 2 testing centers if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So like even Minnesota didn't have one. My company's from Minnesota had to come to Wisconsin, get in line for a $50,000 test. I don't know what it is now. That's what it was back then. Wow. You have to test your stove. If it meets the parts per million, you're okay. If it doesn't meet it, you come back for another test till you meet it again. And then if it does meet it, they take it and they cut it apart and check your welds and check the structure and the manufacturing of your unit to see if you're
tightly controlled.
Yeah. That was my closed systems at the time, and now even open systems.
So then when the administration changed, he loosened up a whole bunch of stuff, and then you could sell more stuff.
After EPA went down, after Obama left, Trump got in and defunded EPA and opened up the market again. So you could still in the state of Wisconsin, we're pretty lucky also. Otherwise, everywhere else, you have to have an EPA certified unit, which adds anywhere from $5 to $10 grand.
And is it more on the East Coast and West Coast?
Oh yeah.
I knew that, but I just thought I'd ask.
We're lucky in the state of Wisconsin because we're a coal-burning state. So we have like 13 coal-burning plants, I believe, left right now. So as long as we're coal-burning, they can't inflict EPA rules on us yet.
Right.
So we're pretty lucky with selling updraft units, efficient units that, you know, still are a decent unit where it doesn't put that cost or add extra work and time onto your units where you have to have this 21% moisture content. You can't throw any snow, water, ice. I call them snowballs and icicles in the wood burner.
I call them woodcicles.
You can't do that anymore. You know, so.
Yeah, interesting.
Well,
so in other words, this election coming up could make a difference for you again.
It'll make a huge difference because it'll set back EPA again. It'll set back EPA 2 cycles, so every other year is a cycle, and set them back 2 cycles. So
what's interesting, you know, when you explain all the costs that go into all this, it affects all industries, all markets, and people don't realize that's why things cost what they do, because there's so much red tape and hoops you got to jump through. It affects everything and everybody, and people think they're immune to it. Votes matter, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, let's look at this unit and quit talking about that stuff. So what do you got here?
I have a Heatmor CB200, which is a all stainless steel inside and out, cast iron grates, comes with propylene glycol, in the unit, 30% mixture. Made in Minnesota. Stove's been made for 60 years. Family-owned business. I like them. I can still talk to the owners, you know.
So this is the number right here, the CB?
The CB200, yep.
Yep, okay.
And it is still an updraft unit. Like I said, the cast iron grates, it goes, the fan comes in the front and the bottom.
Yep.
Got the fan in the bottom there.
Okay.
It still has, the airflow comes in, blows through the grates, comes up in the top, and then goes through 6 stainless steel tubes, goes out the back in the air box, and then up the chimney. We have tubes in the front here. If you're wondering what these are for, there's water in the door to absorb the heat off the door also.
Really?
Because the doors get extremely hot on the ones that
I suppose they can warp then, huh?
Well, they can. It also saves that too, but there's all the other stoves on the market don't have the water in the door, and you can't. You would take the skin off your hand if you touch them. You know, even though it's insulated, you're still losing that heat, so it absorbs and a lot of BTUs that would be wasted.
And a lot of the older stoves that I've seen, my brother's got one. He doesn't have the outer door, so yeah, you're losing a lot of heat right
off
the front.
A lot of heat out of them. Yep, a lot of companies don't do that.
So how efficient is this one percentage-wise?
These units here are looking at that 70%. This was the first layers of EPA went through. They passed, so. You're looking at 70% on these units.
Could they make them more efficient yet, do you think?
Oh, they do. They make them more efficient, but what happens is you have to get that dried wood down to that 21% moisture content or below, or what happens if you don't, you creosote all your tubes up and you lose your efficiency immediately.
Right.
Like in a first day or two burn.
So no different than any other stove or any other fireplace. Dry wood is the best.
Right. Yep.
Well, let's look at the back of it.
Okay.
Because you got a door back here where you can access
you can just open a door and get at all the utilities back here. You got an auger, they auger the ashes out the back instead of working in the front where you are. Pop the cap off, auger them out. These are the 6 tubes that they're talking about back here that the heat comes out and goes out through the air box in the back. Comes with a valve so that the antifreeze is already in the unit. A cover for your clean out goes on there. This cover goes on there with a heat treated silicone gasket. That goes on there. The door opens and closes. Your pumps and everything can stay right back there, you know.
What kind of lifespan does this have?
We have, I've got units out there. I'm still servicing Key 4 and Key 8 over here in Kingston and Partyville area that are 60 years old, 50, 60 years old still. Yes.
Guys just take care of them and they keep working.
Take care of them and they keep running. They've always been stainless steel minded.
Right, and that makes a big difference, I know.
Yep.
Very nice. What does this unit go for?
This unit right now.
Is this the top of the line, bottom, middle?
This is the top, pretty much top of the line with stainless steel. So all stainless steel inside out, 409 stainless with a real warranty. 5 years, 100% rust and corrosion, manufacturer defect, and 20-year prorated. Each year goes down 10% for the life of the owner. And you can transfer on this company also. Like if you sell your house, they could transfer it over for $100. And 9 times out of 10, they'll do it for nothing.
Really?
That's the warranty you get with it, and the longevity is based off of how you take care of it.
Right.
You know.
So what was the price on this one?
The price is $12,500, and I'm running a show special for $12,000 right now.
Okay. And so what other models do they have? Is this the top one, and how many?
Actually, they make a 100, which is 100,000 BTUs. The 200 is a 200,000 BTUs. They make a 400, they make a 600, and an 800. You can go
really?
Up to.
So this is a 200.
This is a 200.
So this is actually second from the bottom.
It's my best seller. I have never sold a 100 because the 100 just seems to be too small, and somebody always wants to add a shop on or a garage in their future. So this will get you to that point always for the little bit amount. You know, it's about $1,200 difference. I just stocked this one. It's my main bread and butter. So it's the nice size, the 200,000 BTUs, 100,000 BTUs for the home. For an older home, usually you're looking for it because the bills or the older home doesn't have the value, our value, and the shop is usually 100,000 BTUs. It's just a good match.
Yeah.
Or the newer home is 80, 70,000 BTUs, and the rest goes to the shop.
Yeah.
You know?
So those guys go with the 400.
Or a big shop, then they go to the 400, and then it's typically.
And what's the difference between the price of the 200 and the 400? Is it like another couple thousand?
Yeah, it's a couple $1,000. It's about $2,500 for the 400 up. You know.
So if a guy is going to have a decent sized, bigger house and a bigger shop, You just go 400 because that does everything then, right?
Like the small one, the 100, you're looking at 13 cubic foot of wood storage, and that's what I can tell you what you're throwing in it. If you're throwing, you know, box elder in, you know, I mean, you need the 200 because you go up to 20 cubic foot of wood storage. And if you're burning your lesser woods, your box elder, elms and that, which is a lot of elm around here, you know, you need the capacity so you can, your burn time will last.
Right, right.
Okay, so then the 400 gives you 30 cubic foot of wood storage, you know, and then up. So.
Right, right. So now I got to ask you another question, because there's a big debate between people on my channel that heat with wood. Small wood versus big wood. If it's the same volume, it doesn't matter, correct?
Yes and no, okay, because, you know, so you have that dry factor. If you're below that 1 inch round dry factor, 8 inches, okay, so you're looking at an 8-inch diameter, inches. Anything bigger than that doesn't dry, okay? So like if you got a 20-inch log and you cut it 18 inches, that center still could be at 40% at 2 years dry.
Oh, I know.
So you split it open and you'll hit it at 45%. So then now you're actually using the other wood to torch the wood that's not dry in effect, okay?
Right.
So that's where there's kind of that, you got to talk to the side of your mouth thing, you know, it's nice to throw the big chunks in.
Right.
Well, that big wood lasts longer, it's because that center chunk still isn't dry yet.
Right, it's burning the moisture out.
That's that big coal chunk or coal bed you find in the center, that's that non-dry wood. Exactly. All of a sudden you got coal bed stacked up past the door and you can't figure out why. And if that's what you're burning, that's fine. On some of these efficient units you have to watch it, because then I can just set the spread apart so that you get a longer burn time and you'll dry your wood after the first burn, and then the second one you won't have that big coal bed. We can spread that apart, you know.
So the moral of the story still is the same. Dry wood.
Drier wood is the best wood, and not the snowballs and icicles when it does. You know, this last year was a bad year for people because we rained and we snowed, we froze hard, and then we thawed, and then we, you know, it got in the wood, and then we rained and we got 0-degree weather for 2 weeks, and then we got 8 inches of snow, you know, and that's what's hard on it when the wood gets wet, even on the outside.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
You can tell the difference. You're filling up 3 times a day, and
yeah, I know. But there's a lot of people that think you take a 16-inch round, you know, widthwise, lengthwise, and if you throw that whole chunk in, it's going to last longer than if you put in the same amount of wood. Say you got 8-10 splits from that chunk, it's going to have the same amount of heat because it's the same wood burning, volume-wise.
Right there.
And a lot of people think, oh, it lasts longer because it's a big chunk. Well, it's because it's burning off all that moisture on the inside.
Well, I got a lot of the, you know, I'm not going to pick on any crews, but the farmers, you know, it's like, okay, so it snowed yesterday, it's 10 degrees out, and Fred goes out and fills up his hay wagon full of wood, and he's going to start her up, and that's cuts that tree down. Now, my philosophy is it's different because you cut the dead trees down, you're not cutting, but he goes out to the fence line, he cuts that box elder down, maple, silver maple, and he's cleaning the fence line out. That's what goes in it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So the moisture content's higher, and it's not a high BTU marked wood.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, there's so many variables. It's hard. There's a lot to know, really, and a lot of people don't know that there's a lot to learn.
That's why, you know, they have one, they make this the next step up. You can get these in a 9-tube unit, okay, also, and they're stacked on top of one another. But you get to a certain point, if you're not doing your dry wood, you're not gaining it because you plug those tubes up.
Right.
With that creosote layer, you lose your efficiency.
And they can be cleaned? Those tubes can be cleaned?
Yeah, you have a clean out rake right here with it. You just scrape them.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy, 2 bolts, and you can do it while it's running.
But I'm guessing there's people that don't do it.
I went to a lot of them. I ended up cleaning because the older units are just 2 oval tubes or just 1 oval tube clean out without the tubes in them. Yeah. And I've chiseled and punched for 6-8 hours just to get the hole cleaned out because they didn't even know they had to do it.
Oh,
after 8-10 years.
Oh yeah. So in other words, maintenance, same as anything else. Take care of it.
You got to take care of it. You got to walk
Change
around,
your oil.
clean it. The fan will be plugged. You know, I mean, that'll be plugged. They don't have a rain cap on them. Doesn't matter what you have. You should always have a rain cap on it.
Right. Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks so much for your information. I know you guys got a lot out of this. A lot of people that watch the channel heat with wood, burn wood, cut wood. It's what it's all about is firewood. So this is very interesting. And the boiler industry, I know, is not what it used to be. And there's a lot of people that still heat with wood, want boilers, but can't have them where they live. Yeah. That's another issue, is because ordinances.
Right. Well, so, that's the other thing they induced on the ordinances for.
Right.
Even if you got an EPA unit one, they just shut you right down. You can't. And they did that because they didn't want it in their town, or they'll do an ordinance where you got to keep it 500 feet away from your home, and I can't pump that way.
Right, yeah, that did that on
So they
purpose.
did that.
Well, and there's always neighbors. There's always the Karens.
And you have the people that aren't smart because he propped his wood burner right next to Irma, right next door, and he's chimneys this tall and it's going right in her window.
Yeah, and she's on the east side now. Wind blows right
Everything
into
blowing
it.
right in there.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks a lot,
All
Greg.
right.
Nice talking with
Thank
you.
you for your
The name of
time.
your company is?
Greg with Sunburst Sales in Ripon, Wisconsin.
And the name of the unit?
Heatmor outdoor wood boilers.
And this is the 200?
This is the CB200.
CB200. There it is, folks. That's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow with another video from the show. 5:30 a.m. I'll see you then. Good night, Irene.